And our correspondent Brian Carter has been closely following what's going on at the summit. He joins us now live from Brussels. Brian, what exactly has been agreed?
Good morning, Belle. Well, it was shortly after 4:30 this morning when the EU leaders finally agreed on the wording of this text right here. Now, the details still need to be worked out, but this text calls, I quote, for a comprehensive approach to migration, which combines more effective control of the EU's external borders, increased external action, and the internal aspects in line with our principles and values. Now, 3 points really stand out from these conclusions. First, the control centers in member states on a voluntary basis. Second, that they will explore the concept of regional disembarkation platforms. And finally, the external migration management in the multi-annual financial framework. Now, the controlled centers. Now, this is an idea to have close controlled centers inside the EU where we can process the asylum application of migrants. But which country will accept to have these centers in their countries still needs to be decided. The second point on these disembarkation platforms, as we know, this was a controversial measure and some even questioned its legality. It's the idea of these centers outside the EU where migrants as well could be either that have been caught at sea or that have been stopped on their way to Europe could be held whilst their application being processed. Now, there's no final agreement on these disembarkation platforms, only that they will work with third-party countries, with the UNHCR and with the IOM. And finally, on the financing of migration, the text indicates that it will be in the multi-annual financial framework, which is currently being discussed for the period of 2021-2027, meaning that to combat illegal and irregular migration, member states agree that there should be some permanent financing system in place. Now, the text also calls on other things such as strengthening the borders through Frontex, increased cooperation with African countries, whether it's the border countries where migrants leave from or the countries of origin. But there is no agreement in this text on the most controversial measures, especially on the Dublin regulation. The text only says that a consensus needs to be found based on a balance of responsibility and solidarity. And finally, on the common European asylum system and the secondary movement of migrants, no agreement as well. The text only says that member states should take all necessary internal legislative and administrative measures without really indicating what that means, if this could potentially mean closed borders, and if this would threaten the Schengen area and the principle of free movement within the EU. Belle?
Thank you very much, Brian Carter in Brussels.